Hi, everybody. I'm Oliver Yates. I'm the CEO of Applo, based here in France. And today I'm going to talk to you about why DeFi matters for everyone. So let's look at the current situation. We're currently more or less in a bear market, but this gives us an opportunity to consider what we're going to build ahead and the ecosystem we want to have. If we look back at the early 2000s, the dot-com bubble, and then 2008, the financial crisis, this gave us Web 2, the way we know it, a better Web 2. So we have an opportunity to build a Web 3 that's not built on greed, but more on resilience. And this is important because finance matters for everyone here. You can look at it as a body, a human body. You have blood, vessels flowing through the body. This is what allows it to function. And compared to the economy, financial rails are what allow the economy to function. So we're all affected by it. We're affected by it directly. You all use money here. You probably have some savings accounts as well. You're able to make some loans, but also indirectly. When you're purchasing something on Amazon with e-commerce, supply chains mainly function on automatic payments today, and content economy, which is growing every year right now with TikTok or OnlyFans. This is all built on financial rails. Now the thing is, this whole system can work better, and I'm sure you all know it here. This is the reason why you're attending the conference. We all know that DeFi can solve a host of problems. Let's take a first example, loans. Right now, loan mechanisms are controlled by oligopolies. A few banks, a centralized lender, they set the prices, they set the rules, they own the infrastructure. But we have the opportunity to decentralize the pricing mechanism. You have Aave and a few other protocols already doing that. Borrowers and lenders can set the rates themselves, yet they still rely on infrastructure that functions almost just as well as traditional finance does. And the good thing is that terms are non-negotiable. If we look at the Celsius example, the first lenders that they repaid were Aave and Maker because there was no way to renegotiate the terms of the margin loan. You have to pay or you're going to get liquidated. There's no human on the other side that's going to listen to any of your issues. A second example, which personally I'm very interested in, is cash productivity. Let's say you own an e-commerce website. You sell, clothes. If somebody purchases one of your t-shirts over the weekend, you're not getting the cash over the weekend, you're getting it on Tuesday because banking rails are slow, and also because banks don't operate on the weekends. Now with stablecoins, you can get that cash in 12 seconds, and then you can use it right away to repay some vendors, to repay your loans, to invest, whatever you want. You just won 2 additional days of usability on your cash. You can use it 24/7. And if you take that a step further, let's imagine you're rich enough, you have a few companies, you want them to share their treasury, you want them to share their assets. This is hard to do when you're using euros or dollars because you can't just transfer money instantly between your entities. If you're using stablecoin, it's so fast that the stablecoin that's in one of your entities is essentially in any of your entities. It takes 12 seconds. This is called cash pooling, by the way. And another example that I actually like a lot is content economy. So 2020, like in the 2010s, you had Facebook and YouTube, and these websites were free, but you were the product. You were consuming ads all day long to watch a video or to talk with your friends, and this was okay at first, but at some point people got tired of it, and so we started moving towards another version, which is what you can find with Patreon or OnlyFans, or even again on YouTube and TikTok. You consume your content, but then you pay your creators separately for personalized content. This is something that's been hugely popular, especially with the COVID era where you were stuck alone at home and you wanted to have something directly brought to you. Now, the issue with this is that there is a lot of friction. As a creator on, let's say on TikTok, for example, or on OnlyFans, a lot of the money that's being paid out to you, you're not actually touching it. A lot of it is going to be taken away by payment rails, again, and all the intermediaries. And also, it doesn't really allow for small amounts. You're generally going to ask for 10, 15 bucks, but you can't just go out and consume 1 minute of content. Again, DeFi is what can solve this. You can pay as you go, pay as you use, stream your value, and it still works. It's still cheap enough that the unit economic works for the producer. They still get paid all the time. So this is also, in my opinion, a very interesting opportunity. And I'll finish just this part with a quote from a very famous Bitcoin skeptic, Dimon from JP Morgan, who says that decentralized finance and blockchain are real. They're new technologies that can be deployed in both public and private fashion, permission or not. So he seems to be going my way as well here. The thing is that to bring these benefits to the mainstream, to make DeFi matter for everyone, we need to recognize what needs to change. Let's take a first example. DeFi is not built for stress situations. There's a reason why capital requirements exist. If a DeFi protocol takes market risk, which by the way, for the moment, very few DeFi protocols are built to take market risk on purpose, well, it should have a shield for its users. Capital requirement is not an invention made for banks, it's just an economic principle. It's having a cushion to protect against whatever happens when your balance sheet loses value. Now, more specifically, if DeFi is to offer unsecured loans, which apparently is the next step of what's coming for us, without crashing at the first market downturn, there needs to be some rules around capital requirements built into the protocols. You can't just rely on whatever arbitrary reserve the founders decided to put away when they launched the protocol. And I know I might be pissing some people off in the room by saying it here, but I'm still going to say it. The second part is that DeFi requires a whole new form of risk management. Again, if DeFi is to offer risk-taking services, protocols have to assess the credit worthiness of its users. This is the whole reason why lending protocols right now are over-collateralized. They can't assess who the person borrowing is, so they can only consider that they might not repay. There is no system right now that allows for accurate credit scoring on DeFi. And also, the risk of the crypto portfolio takes a whole new dimension when you take into account the risk of failure or of congestion, slowing down, whatever you want, on the protocols on which your crypto is built. And this brings me to the last point, which is we need even stronger infrastructure. And by the way, I'm not a dev, so I'm saying this very humbly. I'm not going to be able to contribute to this, but still, look at DARPA's very recent report from a few weeks ago. The main point is that contrary to what people thought, even if you compromise a single node in the public blockchain infrastructure, there is actually danger for the whole network because the messages that are shared through that node can be modified and it can still have impact, even if you don't possess 51% of the network value. That was the common conception until now. And please, they have a public paper you can go check out, which is quite interesting. And also, nice little metric, almost $5 billion have been lost to DeFi hacks since DeFi has become popular in the past few years. This is 11% of the total value locked on DeFi, so it's still quite big. So my message to you guys, and I don't really know which profiles are in the room, but let's just suppose that there are some regulators, some quants, and some devs here. For the regulators, please include DeFi in your upcoming frameworks. This is not done enough for the moment. If you look at the European legal framework, what's done in the US and the UK, they're not really including DeFi. You have to work hand in hand with the protocol founders to figure out what capital requirements look like when you have an automated protocol that's not run by a human being. You have to be proactive about this. For the quants in the room, counterparty risk has taken a whole new meaning, and it's your job to build the models that function on it. And finally, for protocol builders out there, there are so many great public research institutes across the world that have great value in cybersecurity, and they're not involved in the community at all. Some of them have even become septic by being isolated. They're on the sidelines. Please include them in the building phase. In France, you have a bunch of them, just, even if you look around in Paris. Include them before you release anything and go full on marketing mode. But I believe that together with a few simple rules, we have the potential, we can unlock the potential of DeFi. Thanks, everybody. I think we have a few minutes for questions if there are any. All right, thanks, everyone. Enjoy your day.